Hi guys, Nomis here. Welcome back to this YouTube series where I'm rebuilding New York City Subway in the game Subway Builder. And now we're on episode 4, and I just want to look a bit on how the system is doing. If you've seen the previous episode, you've seen that I completed the 1, 2 and 3 train, as you can see here. And you can see I'm using this advanced analytics mod. You see it's doing pretty well. It's got a network health score of 85. It goes up to 100, and it's doing pretty well on timetable adherence. This is how well it's sticking to this timetable, 98%, which is probably not that realistic to New York City Subway if I hear correctly, but it's pretty small now. I think when it gets to its full size, we might see some problems that the real network has. Of course, because of the game, I have to simplify some things, which probably can make some problems go away. So, because I finished the 1, 2 and 3 train, the general plan for today is to get started on the green lines, which is, if you know New York City Subway, that is the 4, 5 and 6 trains. And we just want to hop into, this is the newest New York City Subway map. You can see the 4, 5 and 6 is all the green lines. And I talked about it when I was doing the 2 and 3 trains, but you can see in Brooklyn all the track infrastructure is pretty much done for the 4 and 5 train, which is actually real nice. It will definitely save some time for today. So I think because the 4 and 5 train is pretty much done in Brooklyn, I'm gonna try to finish both the 4 and 5 train in this episode. So let's see, I'm gonna just start here at Bowling Green, I think, and here at Brooklyn Bridge City Hall. This is where the 4, 5 and 6 train starts running together, and this is where it goes into a quad track section, which I believe is called the Lexington Avenue Line, which apparently, if I'm not wrong, I think that is the highest ridership line in the whole system. The collection of these 3 lines on this quad track section. And you can see here the 6 train is running local, taking all stops, and then the 4 and 5 train is running express. So it's gonna be only express stops I'm building today, which is maybe a bit bad for ridership. I'm gonna be losing a lot, but it's just more practical to start with the 4 and 5 train. And then of course the 5 train follows here a bit for the 2 train, which I already built, and then I just have to build out to the main terminuses in the Bronx for the 4 and 5 train. So you can see here on Google Maps, Bowling Green is the southern terminus, or well, the most southern station in Manhattan. And you can see it says roughly at this intersection here, before it kind of turns and goes under the river and into Brooklyn here, which there is a station around here which is called Court Street, which I already built, so I just need to kind of connect it in, and then we need to get up to the City Hall station. And when we do that, we can have a look at the track map, because that's where it gets a bit interesting. But for now, I just want to simply, let's get that to 2D mode. It's a bit simpler to look at, and I want to have just for myself Google Maps up so I can see the general location of the stations. For now it's just going to be simple double stations, so as parallel. We need to get down to -4, and that should be here, Battery Place, Broadway, roughly. So if we do a line here, let's see. Okay, it's not on. Yeah, it is on station. I think that is pretty good. This is Bowling Green. And then I just want to follow up, so we have a couple of stations like Wall Street, Fulton Street, before we get up to Brooklyn Bridge and City Hall. So I'm just going to quickly put in these two stations, and then we can come back to see how we merge them into the quad track section where it meets up with the 6th train. Okay, so now we have these three stations. We have Bowling Green, Wall Street and Fulton Street, which is actually super close together, but that is how the old system was built. So I just want to simply connect them together. Okay, and then I actually need to go below this, and I believe this is 4 meters, so I actually need to get pretty deep to get under the river, and I believe it kind of curves. See if we can get down to -8. Is that too... There at -8, and then we can go under. Then -12. I think we need to get to -16. Is it to get below? Yeah. Let's see if you can. So if you, this is a trick. If you want to keep it straight, you just hold in Shift. It's a pretty recent addition to the game. It's really nice. This is station here we want to connect up with, and it is at -4 meters, and see if we can keep this straight and get it down to -16 here. And that should allow us to get a pretty smooth connection. Okay, no, wait. Let's see, can I do it now? Yeah, okay. So now it's pretty smooth, and this looks pretty similar to what we see on the subway map, I think. And what this cost now, it's 360 million. It's pretty okay. We have like 1.15, and you see in finances we're about 450 million daily profit. So even if we can't afford everything right away, then it should be fine, because we're making pretty decent money right now. So if you need be later, we can just have the game running for a bit. So now it becomes a bit more interesting. Intersection of Center Street and Chambers Street. So let's just get that in first, just the station. Let's see here if you can find exactly that spot there. So yeah, it looks like here. So this here should be the City Hall then. And just want to check, where are we at? -8, so we should be fine with -4 here actually. And then we need a quad station. Yeah, I think it kind of follows the road here. Kind of bending a bit. So I wonder if we can do that with the tracks. I need to first build a quad track just so there's somewhere to kind of follow along. Then we can use this to... Okay, hold on. It's freaking out a bit. I think I need to put it back a little bit further. But it seems like this is kind of the way to go about it. So this is the way to do curved stations. You kind of have to, you have to drag it out from some tracks and then bend it. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like this is pretty good. Then what I want to do is delete these tracks, and now you have it kind of pretty perfectly following the road. You see this is here, you can see it's slightly bent, and actually the outer tracks, which is the 6th train, the local, it goes into this loop under, and then it goes back to the other direction. So it's terminus here and then loops around. And this here is actually, you can see there's like a platform here, because this is the old City Hall station, which was curved, and it's closed now. But after the 6 train terminates here, it runs through the old station and loops around. What we need to do here is we need to get this double-tracked section into the middle, and then we need to create a loop for the outer tracks and go under all these tracks here. Let's see how we can do that in game. First, we want to do here. That needs to be parallel. Just connect it very nicely into there. I think we need a bit more space there. So let's go down to -6 first. No, that doesn't work. It's a bit tighter because this point here is at -8. We can't really, we can't really go down before we cross them. So -6 there, and then -8. Let's see. It's a pretty tight loop, I think, but I think it works. No, that's not gonna work. It's a bit hard to find out exactly where this loop runs. Because of course you have the track map, but it's not like you don't have all the streets and all of that overlaid. Okay, wait. I forgot I need to get it up to -4 again. Okay. I think I just need to go even further back. I need to be closer to the buildings there just to have more space for the curve here. Can we start to erase it already? Can we? I think we're pretty much as close to the building we can be without demolishing it now. It's super tight, but yeah. You're basically touching the foundation, but it looks like we got it working. But that was kind of difficult, but we have it in now. So if you look at the track map again, for a good while now, there's another abandoned station here, but I don't know. It looks like, at least, a lot of like ghost stations. But for the purpose of the game, it's just like a quad track station from here and going all the way up to, I think, the rest of Manhattan. Yeah, just quickly. Yeah, up to 125th Street, which is where they start to split apart, and this is kind of complex. I don't really know how this works here, but I'm going to simplify this to make it work with the game. So I'm just gonna build some stations and some tracks, and I'll speed it up a bit, and then we'll be back to see at 125th Street. Okay, so now I built this line all along Manhattan, all the way up to 125th Street on this Quack track station, and when you get into Midtown and Upper Manhattan, it gets a lot simpler. It's just like down Lexington Avenue, very, very straight, but it was kind of difficult in here in Lower Manhattan. There was a lot of curvy, very tight turns, especially here in Union Square. There was a lot of trial and error. It was almost that I couldn't get it. So we have some kind of sharp turns, but turns that the game allows. So it was kind of difficult, but I still managed to get something that was, I think, pretty close to the real placements, and I had to do some slight curves. I don't know if the actual station is like this in real life, but there was a few things I had to do to make it fit in the game. And then of course there was this Grand Central 42th Street. I had to get really deep, like 21 meters on the ground, because this kind of cut across goes under buildings. I don't think it actually is that deep in real life, but I just had to get around the limitations of the game. I think there's some special rules about foundation on buildings, which I don't know if the game can accurately represent, but it's fine because I managed to get smoothly down, at least in terms of the slope that the game allows, so which is 4%, and then just get up to -4 again for all of this. I did say in the beginning that I was only gonna do 4 and 5 train, but I think because there's so many, like the 6 goes local in Manhattan, if I just do the 4 and 5 train now, it's gonna be so many of these stations which aren't getting used. So I think what I'm gonna do is just make a temporary, I'm still gonna do the 6 train and the whole of the 6 train in another episode, but I wanted to just make a temporary terminus right here in the Bronx, just so we can have the 6 train running, and because it loops around here already, and it's pretty well set up to just have part of its line running already, and it's going on its own on the outer tracks. So now to see how we kind of split the line apart, because this is where the 4 and 5 and the 6 train split apart when it goes into the Bronx. And remember earlier episode, I already did this station there, 149th Street, Grand Concourse, which is where both the 4 and the 5 train stops. You can see here, if you go into the track map, it's gonna get up to the Bronx. So yeah, this is this section here. And I do believe that yeah, I have this weird loop which I did when I was building the station. So you have the 4 train stopping here, and then the 5 train kind of does this weird loop to get into the same tracks as the 2 train. So that is what I want. So I just need to basically connect into this station. And if we look here, this is where the 4, 5, and 6 splits apart as they cross over. I'm not sure what this river is called. I mean, this is the East River going up, but I'm not sure if this is the East River anymore. Maybe it's the Bronx River. It doesn't matter really. So you see, it's this kind of weird, like zigzagging of tracks, which doesn't make sense. And I don't think I can do this pretty accurately in game. So what I'm gonna do is just I'm just gonna get them to cross over like smoothly, get the inner tracks down first, and then have the outer tracks cross over, and then they both need to go further down, of course, across the river, and then split apart here. And you see, it looks like there is some kind of crossover on this station here, 3rd Avenue, 138th Street, for 6th train. So I think it would make sense to just have this as a terminus for now, and then the rest of the 6th train I will build in the next episode. So at we need to be -8 to cross over. And let's see, so the 4 and 5 train just needs to go here and then connect into this station up here. So we first need to, that needs to be a parallel, and I just want to do -8, just want to get it straight. Let's see, there. Okay, I think that's good, and then I just want to check where does the 6th train need to go. It looks like they're crossing roughly at the same spot. This is where it's split apart when you get here on along the expressway. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. First, I'm gonna just get this here. Let's see, it needs to go this, around this, no, bit smoother. There, then just connect it in smoothly there. No. No, we're kind of separating them. And actually, let's see, we need to connect them into a parallel track here. Let's take a short one, because we need to get pretty fast down to -8. But actually no, because they follow along like the same path. Okay, yeah, that's close enough, I think. I just want to redo this bit here. That was the single track. Do this and this, and then back to parallel. We need to go down to -8 to cross the river. So now I just want to, because in track map it looks like they are pretty parallel. Yeah, okay. So what we need to do, let's see, I think it's gonna follow up for quite a bit longer. And then I need to look at the track map again. So it turns into 138th Street. Simply follow along until about here, I think. Then I'm just gonna do as big of a curve as we can into here. I'm just gonna assume that it actually crosses 3rd Avenue. So let's do something like this here. Then we'll look tracks. But this will be the terminus for now, for the 6th train. And then of course, let's see, the 5 train follows along the 2 train here for a bit. So I think for now we can just finish the 4th train going north. Looks like there is some extra tracks, but they're not really in use. So I'm just gonna keep this as a double track section, and it goes all the way up to, how long does it go? It goes pretty far north up to Woodlawn. Is there anywhere that it goes elevated? Because that's a really important thing to keep in mind. It does, yeah, so around, let's see, River Avenue, it goes up to elevated from underground, and then I think it keeps elevated for the rest of the line. I just I'm rebuilding here because I don't want to be kind of caught off guard when it goes from underground to elevated. I've done that before, and then I've just been continuing to build underground suddenly this is elevated. So this one a plan ahead. Okay, so just go elevated for the rest. So I think what I want to do, just to make it easier, to do that part first. Then there's a station here where it crosses 161st Street and Yankee Stadium. It should probably be a pretty nice station to have in. See this empty gap here? It looks like this is where it goes up. So that's -4. Let's go up to +5. It's not enough room here, it looks like. Oh my god. It's always hard, these spots where it has to go very fast from underground to elevated. I think what's happening here is that the game doesn't allow more than 4% grade, and I think there are places in the New York Subway which actually goes past 4% slope. Whoa! Hold on. No! I really thought I had it there. Come on, it's right there. Oh, fucking hell. Helvete da. Okay, so it doesn't really work in the game. I've tried like 1,000 different ways, and there's not really a way to use this space to go from cut and cover to elevated. So I just sadly I have to just do something which is different from the real life, but sometimes that's how you have to do it in game. So instead of going up here, I just want to start from underground here. Now I still want to cut through the park like here. I have to take some demolishing fees, unfortunately. But I want to try to at least keep the path as it is where I can. Actually, how deep? That is 14, okay, so yeah, I can, okay. So yeah, I just have to eat those costs because it's cut and cover under here. Then what we have to do is go from here, -4, up to -5. Just have to do it like along the road instead. And yeah, the station isn't until we get here to 161st Street, so that's actually not too bad. And yeah, we're not gonna demolish the Yankee Stadium, of course. So yeah, I just have to do it slightly different. But fortunately, from here on out, then we just have to get back into going up on top of the road, elevated. And for the rest of this line, it's just following up north, along a few different avenues, all the way up to Woodlawn, where it terminates. So it's not really anything complicated. So I'm just gonna quickly put those stations down, and then I'll be back to see how we can finish the 5 train after that. Okay, so now we have built out the entire 4 train, and we got the northern terminus here at Woodlawn in the Bronx, and see, it's a pretty long line now, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's pretty accurately built, I think. Especially the nice thing about the elevator station is that when I look at Google Maps, I can see pretty much exactly where they are because you have the satellite view. So the station placement becomes a lot more accurate. And I think I've got most of the names right. I think this one is not correct, but yeah, I can do that later. So the problem now I see, because I need to do the northern terminus of the 5 train. If I look at the track map, it's supposed to merge out a little after the East 180th Street station, which is for the 2 and the 5 train. And it goes into this corridor here, which you see starting like a little bit east for Bronx Park East. But because the 5 train runs on the... I do believe they run on the inner tracks here. I just want to double check that. Yes, they appear to do. And I have a quad track here, and I don't think I can... I do not think I can connect like single tracks in here. See, here is where it kind of merges apart. And it does look like, yeah, there's some kind of flyover junction. And yeah, the 5 train does go here. But I think this is just during rush hour. It goes in peak direction, but I'll get back to that when we put in the lines at the end. Oh, sorry, that's a bit too much zooming. I think I need to redo this section of track here, which is not great. I think what I need to do, I think I need to clear the schedule on this route. I just want to screenshot this so I know the frequency that I need to do again when I put it back. But I think I might be able to change these tracks up if I just clear the schedule and wait for the trains to kind of disappear. Or can I just delete them like this? Actually, what I need to do, I might need to just delete it, remove the 2 train and then put it back in after I fix these tracks. But I think that should be... I'll put it in off camera because it's just gonna take too long. I need the street, and I think I'm just wanna start the merge here. First of all, let's see. First of all, just the outer tracks can just connect. Simply like this. Actually, I think I want to make some space. I'm not sure if this is how it is, because when I was looking at the satellite images, it was a bit unclear exactly how it worked. But I think here this is makes it a bit easier. So now we need to merge out here with start by just pulling it out a bit here. This. Then we can see, can we get it up to 9? Yes, we can. Then it will allow us to get over. We need to go down to 5 here. Oh, this should be 9 first. Little gap here. And can we get it down to 5 in the spot there? So we can, and we can merge it in, yes. Then let's see, so this is kind of the corridor that we're gonna have. It looks like in real life it kind of goes into like a covered section here, but that's because it's like a hill, and the game doesn't really simulate the terrain. So I'm just gonna keep it elevated for the whole thing. So we need to just simply go down here at 5 meters. Just use this cut out corridor here. Do this, and then I need to get the single tracks. I think this, yeah, this is not This is not good. I think I need to have this at 9. Then I can merge in pretty. It's a bit of a spaghetti, but I think that works out, and looks like a little bit before this Esplanade. The station is starting there, and that's Morris Park, and then for the rest of the line now, it's really just continuing elevated, going north into the Bronx until we get to Eastchester Dyer Ave. There's not really a super long line going forward, so I'm just gonna quickly do that, and then we can come back and put the lines in. And I'll just put back in the 2 train off camera, so we have that in as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have the rest of the 5 train built out, and before I forget, I just want to make sure that I have crossover there and at the 4 train terminus, which is down here, yeah. And this is gonna actually cost 3.83 billion, so actually we do need to wait a few days for this, which is okay. We're making decent money now. Maybe we'll take out a loan just to make sure. Probably want to get a little bit higher, just so we can buy some trains, because we're gonna actually run 3 different lines, and there is one thing about the 5 train that I just want to take a look at. If you look at the subway map, you see this the 5 train has 2 different terminuses, and after some research it looks like this branch of the 5 train, which goes out to Nereid Avenue, only runs at rush hour, but not as often as the main 5 train. So about like maybe 1/3 of the trains at rush hour, and it's going in peak direction. But because we don't have bidirectional tracks in this, we need to run it in both directions. So I'm gonna have for this just like a separate line for the 5 train, which only runs at the peak hours, and a little bit less than this main line, just to have some trains there, so we can kind of capture the real function of this of the 5 train. And yeah, the 4 train is simple. It has 1 terminus, no shenanigans or anything like that. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just put back in the 2 train, and then let the game run until we have like $4 billion, so that we can build the line or the tracks, the stations and all of that, and also have money to buy all the trains. So I'll be right back, and then we can see where we're at. Okay, so now I had the game running for about 9 days, so we're day 49, a little bit away from rush hour. You can see we have 3.9 billion, almost 4 billion. I just say I want a bit more, but what we can do actually is, now we can, first of all, we can actually afford to build all this, and I wasn't able to have the 2 train running because, of course, I deleted and redid this section, so I meant that the 2 train wasn't able to run. But I was still making a little over 300 million a day with just the 1 and 3 train running. So it was okay to just collect some money. So now we can go ahead and build the blueprints. And now we have this glorious network here. And we don't have that much money, but what I want to do now is actually take out a 1 billion bond, which means we're gonna have a lot of money to buy new trains with. So for now, I just want to look at the subway map and of course get the 4 and 5 train in. And for the 5 train, I want to have one little branch which goes out here to Nereid Avenue, and I think I'll have, for the 4 and 5 and 6 train, I'm gonna have like 10, 15, 20 frequency just to start with, and then I can up it if I have capacity issues. And I'll have one branch of the 5 train going up here to Nearwood Avenue. I like 20 minutes frequency just on rush hour. I think that's gonna work out well to simulate that part of the line. And then of course I also need to put back in the 2 train. So after I've done that, I'll be back and then we can have a look at what we have now and speak a little bit about what's next for this build. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so now I have all the different lines in. I've put the 2 train back in after I built it and I was able to put it back in. Then I have the 4, 5 and the 6 train. Of course the 6 train isn't full built out, but it has this terminus station here, which is actually named the wrong thing, but I'll fix that off camera. And you can see here I've split the 5 train into 2 different lines. So you have the 5 and the 5N, which is 5 Nearwood Avenue, which is this, where's this? This one, which goes out to Nearwood Avenue, and look at the routes. So see here, 4, 5, 5N and 6. You see it runs 22 minutes frequency only at high demand and no trains outside. So that's kind of trying to simulate something similar to that branch of the 5 train in real life, which only runs during rush hour. So I think what we're gonna do now is to check how the lines are doing. I'm gonna be running it for 2 days, so the rest of day 39 and then day 50, just to see how the lines are doing. And hopefully we're gonna see a big spike in ridership. It's a lot of new lines and the interlining and integrating with other lines pretty well. And then we can talk a bit about what's next for the series. So I'll be right back in 2 days in game and then we'll have a look. Okay, so now the game has been running for about 2 days and you can see the ridership here. Actually for the 4 and 5 train is now the highest ridership lines, and just overall it's got pretty decent ridership. And you can see on the money we are making over 600 million a day. So now it should be a lot easier to start building new lines. And I'm not sure why, but it says according to the advanced analytics mod now that is doing very poorly. It seems like there's a lot of unused capacity on most of the lines. I'm not really sure why this is happening. Because I have built it exactly like the real lines. I'm not sure if the game kind of reads the demand the same way as in real New York, or maybe the lack of commutes outside the work is kind of hurting the ridership when comparing it to real life. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry too much about that. For now I'm just gonna recreate it and recreate the whole system like it is, and I'm not gonna worry about this statistic, at least now, because at first I would need to just build it out, and I think that's when it's fully built out. That's when you kind of have to start to analyze the system. So yeah, we got the 4 and 5 train in its entirety, and most of the 6 train, at least in Manhattan and yeah, Manhattan, because that's where it terminates. And we got the first station here in the Bronx. So going next in the series, I think first of all I want to of course finish the entirety of the 6 train, which has quite a few stations into the Bronx. And if you look at the demand stats, I think we're peaking at a little bit above 9%. So we're getting there. It's a long way to go, of course, but these first few lines have done pretty well. You can see we're getting a lot of blue and purple around where we built the lines. Of course, here in Midtown and downtown there's a lot of red still because, oh well, actually here, this is the workplaces. Here is a lot of red still as well, but the workers here, they come from basically all around the city, so there's a lot more to cover. So I think, yeah, for the next part, the next episode, we'll do the 6th train. Maybe we'll do the 7th train as well, just to get it started, because I don't think it's gonna take that long to finish off the 6th train. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking to the end if you made it this far. A like, comment and subscribe would help me a lot in growing the channel, and I appreciate it. I do also have a Patreon now, in case you would wish to support me further. Have a great rest of the day, and stay tuned for some cinematics, and I hope you see you in the next one.